What's going on, everyone? So, De'Aaron Fox is eligible to sign his extension, and the question becomes, is he worth 4 years, $229 million? Right? His first year would be about 49 to 51 million, right? Depending on how they want to structure it. And there's a lot of question marks about that. Been reports and insiders and people all saying that, like, hey, Spurs might not even think that. Spurs might not even offer him, like, they might offer him the full money, but not the years, or they might offer him the full years, but not the money. Like, it's going to be this, like, kind of give and take. Is De'Aaron Fox willing to sacrifice on years or sacrifice on money? Or does he look at it as like, hey, I chose you. I could have went to other teams. I could have went to other places. Right now, you're trying to mess with me. Right? Does De'Aaron Fox end up feeling slighted by this? Right? Like, how is this going to play out? It's going to be very interesting to see. Tune in, right? But again, is he actually worth the max? Well, according to Bobby Marks, he's not, because Bobby Marks did a whole article breaking down essentially the whole De'Aaron Fox situation and his contract and how he's due, the 4 years, 229 million, and basically begs the question, and he presents it as like, hey, Victor Wembanyama is going to get paid next year. You're going to have 2 max contracts on your books, not counting Jeremy Sohan, right? Oh, and by the way, you have Devin Vassell and his 27 million, you have Keldon Johnson, his 17 million, and then the next year you're going to have guys like Devin Vassell, who are going to be doing new contracts. Oh, and then the year after that, you got Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant, who are going to be doing new contracts, right? So, said it, this team is going to get pricey, and they're going to get pricey fast. That's the reality. I mean, as soon as next season, they could be, an apron. I mean, they could be a second apron team, depending on how much they pay everybody. Jeremy Sohan and De'Aaron Fox and all these guys, right? Like, Jeremy Sohan, that's another guy that's probably going to want some money, right? Like, and then you have Devin Vassell's money and all that other stuff, right? Like, so this is a team that, depending on how this goes, could end up being in just a really tough spot if they end up overpaying guys and they end up giving guys too much money and stuff, right? And not taking into account. This isn't a situation where you can go, okay, let's just worry about it right now. Let's worry about it in the future. You also got to keep in mind, if you ever plan on trading De'Aaron Fox, right? Do other teams look at him as a top player, right? Where is he? But touch on that here more in a moment. I want to read what Bobby Marks said, because I actually agree with it. Here's the thing. So he says, again, Bobby Marks, Fox is a really good player. Is he a top 25 player? I don't think so. Is he a max player? That's for the Spurs to determine. Would he be a max player? If he were in Denver, based on their finances, would he be a max player? No, I don't think so. I think you have to be careful handing out $51 to $52 million contracts to really good players who are top level starters, but not all stars. That's how I stand, right? And I'm not going to lie, Bobby Marks isn't wrong, right? Like, the new CBA changed everything, because you can't just go into the tax, can't just have an owner that's willing to pay whatever it needs to pay, blah, 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 right? So here's the thing, is that, again, is he worth a max? Is he worth 50 plus million a year? Is he a guy that is the first or second best player on a championship team? Because that's what you're paying him to be. And there is the potential, if Dylan Harper starts to come into his own, and it's like, we need to get off of Fox, or if the Fox situation isn't just working out, there's a potential that you might not even be able to trade him, because he's making $52 million, or at that point, maybe $55 million, and teams don't look at him as that. There were questions even in Sacramento. Yeah, he was the face, he was the guy, all of that. What did that lead to? One good season. And that one good season, they were eliminated in the first round. There were questions about his leadership, about him being able to take a team to the promised land. Is he the first or second best player on a championship contender? He then gets traded to the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs have to give up nothing, literally nothing. And they were worse by every metric. Now, I don't think that was all entirely De'Aaron Fox's fault, because, again, I think it's easier to integrate role players than it is to integrate stars. And then especially stars that are the number one option, right? Because they're used to getting X amount of shots. They're used to having the ball in their hands and essentially being able to be the guy, right? where you're coming in, you got to make the adjustments, you got to do all these things. Is De'Aaron Fox that guy? Right? And even if he's willing to take a discount, right? Let's say he's willing to take $6 million a year off less, right? Or let's just keep it simple for easy math. Say $5 million a year. So $20 million. So instead of $229, he signs $209. That would be great. Don't get me wrong. But is he worth $47 million, $48 million a year? Right? Like, what is his value? He's probably, if you don't believe he's your first or second option on a championship contender, on a true championship contender, then he's at best 25 to 30 million. If you pay him 50 million, that means he'd be 20 million over value. I think probably in that like 30 to 40 million range, right? Because he's like all-star level point guard. But is he superstar? Right? These are all tough decisions that teams are going to have to make now, right? 2 seasons ago, right? This wouldn't even been a question. Pay him, figure it out, right? No biggie. And it'd be easier to trade because teams would be more willing to take him on his contract because it's like, we just get in the tax, right? Like, you can't do that anymore. Right? Like, his max contract could be, again, you might have to give up assets to get off of him, right? Like, and as silly as that sounds right now, because he's an all-star level point guard, again, the CBA has changed everything. It's not a coincidence that this first like full real offseason where teams really understand and grasp it, we've had the 2 largest buyouts in NBA history. Literally. 2 largest buyouts in NBA history. I don't think that was a coincidence. In the past, teams would have just ate it. Or they could have easily found somebody like, hey, we'll give you a second for Bradley Beal, just take him and then you trade him. Or there'd be a team that'd be like, fine, we'll just take him, right? Because he's a good player still, like blah, blah, blah. Right? Like, but no, we're in very real situations. You're seeing more buyouts now than we've ever seen in the offseason. I don't think that's a coincidence. Like, you cannot operate the way that you did prior. Where, hey, we're just going to give guys this money and that money, and you get a max, and you get a max, and you get a max. Everyone, you get a max. Check under your seats, right? Like, you don't get that anymore. You can't. You have to be much more cautious and conservative. But here's the thing, too. You also have 3 other guys that are right behind, right? You have literally year after year. Each year, you're going to have somebody new that's about to get paid and get paid pretty handsomely. Because Victor Wembanyama is going to end up signing his max, right? Stephon Castle's probably going to want a max, or at least close to it. And Dylan Harper's going to want a max, or at least close to it. And it's not even counting Carter Bryant. I mean, you could have 5 maxes. You could be the most highest paid team in the second apron for the rest of your lives. Like that, these are all issues. These are all things that they're going to have to figure out. And it starts now. This isn't something that's like, let's worry about a year or 2 from now. No, it starts literally right now. Because the decision you make with De'Aaron Fox could impact the rest of the way going forward. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.